quickly recap. So we talked about two different forms of linear equation. Oh, sorry. So the first one is the first one we talked about was y-intercept form. And what it looks like is y is equal to mx plus b, where m is the slope of the line and b is the y-intercept. So I personally find this, I personally like this the most because it's really simple. You just have the slope. So now if you say you have a slope of 2, I can just draw like these arrows. Well, I won't physically draw them, but this is how I will imagine them, right? So like slope of 2, just write 1 up 2, and then I can kind of like draw as many points as I want, and I can connect them like that. And then really all I need is a y-intercept to start with, right? So like the y-axis, and then I have the intercept here, and I can start drawing the slope, and then I can have as many points as I want. So this is why I like this. But then sometimes when you have like a y-intercept that is here, you can't really tell what b is. So we have another form that we talked about was the point slope form. So oh, actually, maybe let me just write down that for y-intercept form. So need slope and y-intercept to find equation. So if you have these two information given, then you can find the equation of the line. And remember, you just plug the numbers in. So then sometimes it might not be so convenient with this. So we can utilize something else called the point slope form. And with point slope form, how it comes to be is that we recognize that given any 2 points, yes, that's actually the key. Because with y-intercept form, you must have the coordinate of the y-intercept. But with point slope form, you can given any 2 points. You can find the equation. Or given, so I would say or, given any point, so any 1 point, and the slope, you can find the equation. So this was what we talked about last week, right? Point slope form. So what the slope? So this first scenario is really just Oh, so let me write out the equation, the form, I guess, first, right? So it was y minus the, so maybe, oh, okay, yeah, I'll just write y minus y1 is equal to the slope m times x minus x1, where y1 and x1 are two specific points, but y and x are variables, those they change, but y1 yx are constants. So, and then, so if we specifically look at this one, it really is just that 2 points give a slope, and then after that, use one of the 2 points and slope. So this, what I mean by this is just plugging it in. So one of the 2 points, then it will be x1, y1. Then these can be the 2 points, and then the slope that we find. And this really is just the second step, right? Given any point, so one of the 2 points, that's any point, and the slope, and the slope. And you plug the numbers into here, then you can get the equation. So, so these are essentially the 2 different forms of linear equations that we talked about in last week and the week before that. And this week, let me just quickly go over this. It's pretty simple. And then we'll review more in depth. Not blue. So the third one and the final one is something called a standard form. And what it looks like is ax plus by is equal to c. So they're not all variables, okay? Only x and y are variables. So when you see linear equations, most of the time, I won't say always, but most of the time, the variables will only be x and y. Anything else are constants. So same with this. A is a constant. B is a constant. And C is a constant. So an example is 3x plus 4y is equal to 5. This is an equation in standard form. Now remember, you can always rearrange them, of course. So if I want to put this in the y-intercept form, then all I have to do, so put to y-intercept. So we can minus the 3x on both sides. We get 4y is equal to 5 minus 3x. And I can divide the 4 on both sides. Then I get y is equal to 5 divided by 4 minus 3 divided by 4x. So, and actually you can go from here back to here as well. So what can we do? So I'll just show this as an example and I'll give you some to practice as well. So if you want to go back to this, you add 3 over 4x on both sides. Then it comes y plus 3 over 4x is equal to 5 over 4. So wait, let me just indicate this. So y plus 3 over 4x is equal to 5 over 4. And then to get rid of the fraction, I mean, technically this is in standard form because they're constants, right? Like fractions are constants. Nobody says that fractions have to be whole numbers. So, wait, actually, let me just, sorry, I was just charging my headphones in case it runs out of battery. So yeah, so as I'm saying, so the A like of X, right, is just 3 over 4, C is just 5 over 4, and B really is just 1. 1 times Y. That's just Y. So, but then, of course, I think it'll be better if we can put it back into like this whole number. So what do? We multiply both sides by 4 to get rid of the denominator. Then we get 4y plus 3 over 4 times 4 is 3. 3x is equal to 5 over 4 times 4, 5. And there you go. So we just switch from standard to y-intercept form and then back to standard form here. So that's just a quick example. Maybe I'll put it down here. So with standard form, I guess one of the good things is that it kind of looked nice because usually if you see it, it will be like something like this. It will be whole numbers. Not always, not usually fractions, usually whole numbers. So it just kind of look nice. But other than the look, the benefit of standard form, so not benefit, I guess is advantage. Yeah, that's a better word. The advantage of standard form is that it can quickly show the intercepts of a line. So intercept, not just the y-intercept, the x-intercepts as well. So say this is my line, intercept, intercept. This one is the y-intercept and the x-intercept. So it can find both intercepts really quick. And let me show you how. So let's say, let me just take that equation again. 3x plus 4y is equal to 5. So how do we find the intercept? Well, recognize that for the y-intercept, we have a y-coordinate, but the x-coordinate is simply 0, right? So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. When it's right on the y-intercept, the x-coordinate is simply 0. So if we want to find the y-intercept, we simply let x be 0. Then that's the y-intercept. So recognize that y-intercept has x-coordinate of 0. Oh yeah, so another thing I just thought about is said when you like usually if I'm writing an English essay, I just write it like this, said. But when I'm doing math, I often like to put a line through because said is very similar to to. So just to keep note of that. Or some people like to write it cursive like that. That's a said, but I don't like the look of it, so I just do this. but your preference. Just don't get it mixed up with the number 2. Yeah. So anyway, so recognize that y-intercept has x coordinate of 0. So if we plug 0 into this equation, we get 4y is equal to 5. So y is equal to 5 over 4. So this means that the y-intercept is, not in, is 0 and 5 over 4. And there you go. So how do you find the x-intercept? Simple. Similar to this. We recognize that the y-coordinate of the x-intercept is 0. So when y is 0, we have the x-intercept. So recognize, again, that x-intercept has y-coordinate of 0. So we simply plug in that y is equal to 0, then we can find the x-intercept. So when y is equal to 0, 4 times 0 is just 0, so all we have left is 3x is equal to 5. So x is equal to 5 over 3. So therefore, not the y-intercept, the x-intercept is 5 over 3 and 0. So to recap, this can find the intercepts really easy. When it's the y-intercept, the x-coordinate is 0. So all you have left is 4y is equal to 5, and y is equal to 5 over 4. So the y-intercept is 0, 5 over 4. And x-intercept, similarly, has a y-coordinate of 0. Well, it's kind of the opposite, but similarly. So then all you're left with is that when y is 0, 4 times y is 0, so 3x is equal to 5, and x is 5 over 3. So the x-intercept is 5 over 3, 0. And now you have 2 points, so what can you do? Well, you already know the equation of the line, so you don't need to put it in like point slope form. But the thing is that it's really, well, this one is not so easy to graph. But if the numbers are nice, you can kind of graph it pretty easily. So all you have to do is, so 5 over 3, let's say it's here, 5 over 4, a bit smaller, it's like here. So that's the y-intercept and x-intercept. And you can just connect the 2 points and you get the line. So there you go. Now, this one is very good to talk about because as you can see, the numbers are not so nice to be put here. So like, what can we do? So what you can do is, so it's not so good to directly graph the points. Then you need to change it to another form. So this, you can change it to a y-intercept form. That's how I did it here. Then you get the slope, right? So the slope is negative 3 over 4. So that's what we discovered here. And well, the y-intercept is 5 over 4. That's not so good. So we can use point slope form. So how do we do point slope form? Well, just so if you, how do I say, so you can use these 2 points, this point or this point, and that should be good. But it's still kind of fraction. So if you want a whole number, sometimes you really need to try out different numbers. So again, so at the end you might need to set up a table of values. So it just depends on the equation and then what you can do. So, or I guess the other thing that I should probably refresh is setting up table of value to graph. Excuse me. So setting up table of value is the most primitive form of graphing in a way. There's really nothing to it, you just plug in numbers. But it always gives out an answer. So you can always do this and it will always work. So let me just move this a bit over. So I guess any questions about the standard form? And then that will be all the new things we'll talk about today. Your iPad might die during the lesson. Please. Okay. Oh, hello, Olivia. You have joined us. So, wait, what did you get, I guess? Did you hear about the standard form? So, this part, oh, this part over here? How much did you hear? How much did you not hear? Because I can quickly go over again. Half. Okay. Well, I think it's always good to have a refresher anyway. Oh, where did my mouse go? So, because I kind of gone sidetracked to other things as well as I'm talking about this, so let me just go through this right here. So, last 2 weeks we talked about the y-intercept form, which is y is equal to mx plus b, and the point slope form, which is y minus the y coordinate of a point equals the slope times x minus the x coordinate of the other point. And then the third form of the equation is the standard form, and what it is that ax plus by is equal to c, where a, b, and c are constants. So an example is 3x plus 4y is equal to 5. So this is an equation in standard form. It looks really clean, so that is how you can recognize it. And usually the x and y are on the same side, whereas if you look back, x and y of these two forms, they're on different sides. So this one is on the same side. And so what is the advantage of having the standard form? Really is to find the x and y intercept. So what does that mean? Because we recognize that the y-intercept has a x-coordinate of 0, right? Like it's right here, so the x-coordinate is 0. So if we look at the standard form, we can simply plug in x as 0, and then all we're left with, 3 times 0 is 0, then all we're left is 4y is equal to 5. So then 4y is equal to 5, so y is equal to 5 over 4. So what does that mean? That means the y-intercept is simply 0 and 5 over 4. That's it, and then we have found out the y-intercept. And in a similar process, we recognize that the x-intercept has a y-coordinate of 0. See, it's right in the middle line over here, so y-coordinate is of course 0. Then 4 times 0 is 0. It disappears. So that means 3x is equal to 5 and x is 5 over 3. So the coordinate of the x-intercept is 5 over 3 and 0. So just by that, we found the x and y intercepts. So if you look at the y-intercept form, finding the y-intercept is easy. It's just b. But if you want to set the x-intercept, what you need to do is to set this as 0. So set the y as 0, and you have to solve for the equation for x. That's so there's like a few more steps, I guess, when you try to solve the equation. But this one, if you set 1 as 0, the other is just very straightforward. Just 4y equal to 5 or 3x equal to 5. It's as straightforward as that. So that's the advantage of the standard form. And of course, these are not so nice numbers. So, but if you have nice numbers, you can just x-intercept, y-intercept. Oh, 2 points. Straight line. Oh, that's bad. Straight, straight line 2. And there's your line. And you can just write out the equation like that. Make sense? Questions? Concerns? Issues? Comments? Okay, so y-intercept form, point slope form, standard form. Oh, yeah. With actually on the side, I just want to quickly talk about the vertical and horizontal line again. So vertical line, let me define it again. So the equation of a vertical line is always x is equal to a. So x is equal to some number, okay? And that number is dependent on your graph. So I will just draw a nice one here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I have this vertical line, then A is 1, 2, 3, 4. So this line, this vertical line, the equation is x is equal to 4. So why is that? Well, because every point on this line has the x coordinate of 4. So how do I here? Every coordinate on, or every point maybe. Yeah, every point on this line has x coordinate of 4 and y coordinate can be any number. So because the y coordinate can be any number, we can't really say what the y coordinate is. So this is why when we say a vertical line, we just say x is equal to 4. So of course, if you have a vertical line over here, then x is equal to 2. If you have it over here, maybe x is equal to -3. So if you see a vertical line, the equation is x is equal to something. And that something depends on where that is. Where it is on the Cartesian plane. So remember that? So this is called the Cartesian plane. Now horizontal line. Oh yeah, I guess the thing you don't want to get messed up with is that a vertical line is not undefined, okay? Like it is a line, and it's a real line, an existing line. So vertical line is not undefined, but the slope is undefined. So the slope of a vertical line is undefined. But the line itself is not undefined. So it is defined. Well, it is defined. So don't get confused, okay? So just because the slope is undefined doesn't mean the line doesn't exist. It's still a line. Like we draw vertical lines all the time, so it still exists. So and then the horizontal line is a bit similar actually, a bit simpler actually, because nothing is undefined, everything is defined. And it takes the form y is equal to a. So let me just draw out a kind of a nice one. So let's say go up. At 3 over here, I have a horizontal line. Y is equal to 3. So this is what I mean by y is equal to a. It depends on where it is. So if it is down here, it's y equal to 1. That's the horizontal line over here. Horizontal line over here, y is equal to negative 3. So every point on this line has x coordinate. Oh, no, has y coordinate. My bad. Of 3. And then the x coordinate can be any number. So this is why we don't really focus on the x. We can't really say anything about the x. X coordinates still numbers, so they still exist. They're not undefined, but we can't really say much about it. What we can say is the y. So the y, all the coordinates are 3. So we just say that for horizontal line, we say y is equal to something. And in this case, y is equal to 3. And the slope is 0. Simple. It's not undefined, it's not anything special. So, okay. So that's just quickly vertical line, horizontal line. Hope that clears things up a bit. Uh, 1021, okay. So we'll go back to the forms of equation now. So hope you still remember. So we'll do some examples, okay? So, example. So right now, everything is fair game, okay? So you can use, you can express your answer as standard form, point slope form, or y-intercept form. Anything is fair game. So let me just draw out this. So there's my Cartesian plane. And let's say, put over here. So since I'm drawing this by hand, I'll just let you know that which points are right on the crossing, okay. So like anything other than the points that I have circled, they're not in the right on the point. So find the equation of this line over here. And every increment is 1. If I don't specify, every increment is 1. So, or maybe to save you, oh, I will write out the different forms below here. So let me move this down a bit. Even down a bit more. Just bear with me for a sec. So, and standard form. So there you go. So you can refer to this when you try out this question. And then actually I'm going to give you another one on the side here. So yeah, you can start doing this one. Find the equation and type it into the chat as I'm doing the second one. Mm. So find the equation of this line as well. Yeah, so these are the two. Just do these two right now. No? Working on it? So at 10:30, I'll give you a hint if you are still struggling. And then we'll see. Okay. Olivia? No? Nobel? Emma? James? Hey, hint. You point, slope, form. And this one, so if you can see, if you want to find the equation of the line, you need to know the slope. You always need to know the slope. Oh shoot, what happened here? Did I? Okay, that's better. Slope. So that's the slope. Hmm. Okay. Olivia, what do you think? First one, the one on the left. What's the answer? Yeah, 2/3. That's good. And then the equation of the line. So see how I got it up here already. So you can use this any point. So I guess to refresh, what this essentially means is that y minus y1 divided by x minus x1 is equal to m. And this here is just saying that any 2 points, so well, so 1 point on the graph, say I pick this point, and any point on this line, they will have a slope of m. So this is what point slope form means. It's essentially a representation of slope. So y minus y1 divided by x minus x1 is equal to m, where x1 and y1, they're essentially a coordinate. So you can pick any coordinate in here. Two or three x plus 4 is equal to y. Okay, so that's in y-intercept form. That's okay. But which point did you pick so that I can check your answer? Actually, are you sure? Because just looking at this is in y-intercept form, then 4 must be the intercept. But here, I didn't say 4 is an intercept. If you look at the graph over here, 1, 2, 3, I didn't pinpoint the y-intercept, so it's actually not a whole number. It's not supposed to be a whole number. Nobel, what do you think? So remember, any point is x and y, x1 and y1, and then just take y minus the y1 divided by x minus x1 is equal to the slope. And as Olivia already pointed out, the slope is 2/3. Okay, yeah, that's okay. So Olivia, you might want to check over your work. It's not quite +4. Emma, any idea? Nope. James, what do you think? So if you want, so go back to the notes I sent out last week. So it should be in the Discord chat. The PDF notes. See what I wrote down about finding equation of point slope form. Okay, y minus 5 is equal to 2 over 3 x minus 1. Let's see. So y minus 5. So I'm guessing you picked. So you're saying that you picked this uh this coordinate. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 4. This point is 4, not quite 5. Yes. Y minus 4 is equal to 2 over 3 times x minus 1. That's right. So what this means, let's go back to this form, okay? So maybe it would be better if I write it in, just as a fraction. So the slope m, I have it right here, 2 over 3. So point slope form, I think is, yes, it is. I think it's the hardest one to get what it means. But once again, x1, y1, they're just a point on the graph. Like, doesn't matter where the point is. Because if you can imagine, the slope of the slope of this, okay, it's bad drawing, but the slope of this, they are all equal to 2 over 3, no matter where it is. This is why whatever the point is, it doesn't matter. So Olivia chose 1 and 4. So this point. So then y minus 4 divided by x minus 1 is equal to 2 over 3, and multiply both sides by x minus 1. And that's essentially in point slope form. Now, what is this x and y over here? This essentially means that this point and any other point on this graph, so like I don't care if like x and y, I don't care if it's here or x and y is here or x and y is here, wherever x and y is, that point and the point 1 and 4, so this red point 1 and 1 2 3 4, 1 and 4, they will form a slope of 2/3. So this is what point slope form is about. Any point xy. So this x, this y and this x is referring to the any point part. Any point here, here. I don't care where it is. Minus this red point. Y1, x1 is the red point. Maybe if I color code it. So y and x, they are referring to the all the points, any point on this line. Any point, I don't care where it is. Any point. Like they can be up here as well. And x1 and y1 refers to the red point. Just that one point. And any point in that graph and that point has a slope of m, has a slope of 2/3. It will always be 2/3. So the slope is always 2/3. And when you rearrange them, this is what you get. Y minus 4 is equal to 2/3 times x minus 1. That is all. Okay? So just do this one quickly, maybe? So this one is y-intercept form. So if you recall y-intercept form, you need a slope and you need a y-intercept. And then you can get the equation of the line. So it should be pretty straightforward for this one. Give you 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Okay. Nobel, what do you think the answer is? The equation of this line. The second line. Anyone? This one. So you can got the slope drawn out already, and the y-intercept. Emma, what do you think? Okay. Nobel? No idea. Olivia, how about you? Example on the top? What example? Oh, well, this one. Like, you mean, I didn't do any examples up here. Which one are you referring to? So I have the different forms written out here. So y-intercept form is y is equal to mx plus b. Point slope form is that. Standard form is that. It's just using y-intercept form. So you just need the slope and the y-intercept. When you plug it in, you get the equation. What's the slope? What's the y-intercept? Okay, what's the slope of this line first? What's the slope? Anyone? This line. -3, that's right. What's the y-intercept? M is equal to -3. Y-intercept? Y-intercept is where the line crosses the y-axis. That's why it's called an intercept. It crosses over that. 07, that's what. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. Not 7. 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, equation of the line. mx plus b. M is negative 3x. M is negative 3, negative 3x plus b 6. That's all. It's just this y-intercept form. I already said it here. Use y-intercept form. So like, all you gotta do is figure out the slope, and then see where the y-intercept is, and you just plug the numbers in. It's just as simple as plugging in the numbers.